like, okay, there you go. You came back.
Hi!
You see now?
You look
Yay!
great.
Yay!
It's been so long.
I know. Oh
Oh,
my goodness.
you look great.
Thank you. So
You
do
look
you.
really good. Girl, this is a mess. I just threw it literally running from the mall. I'm like, let me hurry up. I got an interview. Let me hurry.
Well, I'm so glad you make it. You're my
Yes.
first interview of the year.
Yes! And you from DC, my hometown.
Okay. Oh my goodness. I didn't know you was from DC. What part?
Benning Road.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So
Southeast.
okay, we definitely fan bam did. I'm from Southeast too. Lord.
Oh Lordy. Oh
Listen, look
Lord.
at how small the world is, and we met in Atlanta though.
Back in Atlanta. Isn't that crazy?
It is. So much has happened since then. Clearly.
Girl. Child.
Now listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I ain't watched Love and Hip Hop in I don't know how long, but that
Don't
is what
feel
brought us here
bad.
today.
Don't feel bad.
That is what brought us here today for sure. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
on season 8, right?
Girl, I ain't even make it on to the show yet. It.
Really? So what happened? What had happened?
Do you really want to know the?
I want to know what you want to
Okay.
tell me. That's what I want to know.
Okay.
And we'll share it in the best, if this is platform is for you to share your story
Thank
and
you.
it's
Thank you.
no shade or nothing, but
Gotcha.
whatever you choose to speak on, we just want to hear your side and what's going on. Cause I
First.
remember seeing you was supposed to be
Uh
on the show as like
huh.
the first gay couple on the
Yes.
show. What
Yes.
happened?
Girl. Well, Mona actually they came to me about 4 years ago. It was
Mm-hmm.
4 years ago they originally came to me. And I was like, y'all want me? What y'all want me for? And I just felt like at that time that I still had so much more to do in Atlanta. I'm like, I ain't really, I don't know that many people and all this other good stuff. Mona was like, no, you would be perfect for Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. I was like, wait a minute. And of course, just hearing that coming to Atlanta, I literally came to Atlanta homeless. I didn't have no connections. I didn't know anyone. So to go
Wow.
from being now noticed by VH1 executives and Mona Scott, that was huge. I was like, thank you, Lord Jesus. Because at first I was about to head back to DC because my family was like, boy, what are you doing? What is your plan? What are your goals? What do you plan on doing? And to be honest with you, I didn't have everything mapped out like I thought I should have. But you know what? Nobody but God, and for Mona and them to even see me worthy enough to be a part of their huge franchise, that said, to me, it spoke volumes that I was doing something right. So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and see what this is all about. I never had any intention on doing reality TV, mind you. That was never my goal to come to Atlanta. I initially came to Atlanta for acting. I said I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna be this huge acting star, just like everyone. I'm going to Hollywood,
Yes.
and God had other plans. God
Mm-hmm.
had other plans, and they still were great plans. They were His plans, and sometimes we think that we're in control. We're not in control. We ain't in
Oh,
control of this thing.
not
You
at
know what I
all.
mean? So
Yeah.
whatever God wants to happen, it's going to happen. But He was still, all in all, He still was finding a way to place me on a major platform. So in the end, I was getting everything that I've asked for. So it
Mm-hmm.
was crazy how they still saw me worthy because I'm like, little old me, I ain't nobody. But they were like, no, you got something that we need. I was like, uh-oh.
Okay. Okay.
I'm like, uh-oh. So that's how it came about. They found me on Instagram, found me on social media, and even at the time, I may have had a little over 5,000 followers. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
that many, but they were still like, look, boy, you got something that we want. I was like, yes, let's go, let's rock out, let's do it. So they came to me for the season 8,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, all right. I finally could, because before then I was still hesitant. I was like, I don't know if I really want to go on Love and Hip Hop, and I look, don't get me wrong. I love being entertained by Love and Hip Hop every Monday, and I still watch it, thankfully. But
Yeah.
I was still saying, am I made for that type of television? And I just prayed about it, and God said, just step out on faith and let's see what can happen. And this go around, I was all in.
Mm-hmm.
But other things happen.
What is those other things?
Yeah, sip on that tea.
It might be a little stronger than some tea, but it's
Child, do I need a drink?
seriously.
Woo, well, I I met someone.
Mm-hmm.
I met someone who I was I met someone.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really, really great person. And honestly, I again, it goes back to God having his own plans.
Mm-hmm.
We may have our own goals and dreams that we want to accomplish, but God ultimately have the final say so. I just think that we weren't meant to do reality TV together. That's I don't, to this day, I want everybody to win. And that's always been my thing for everybody. Even if we're not the best of friends, even if whatever, you know what I mean? I want everybody to win. And I just think honestly that it just wasn't meant for us to be a part of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta together, to be honest with you. That's all. I mean, it's so many other so many things transpired, but I'm mature enough to understand that what's meant to be will be, but what ain't supposed to be, God ain't gonna allow that thing to happen. So
So like when I Googled it, I did a little Google.
I'm sure you did.
But speaking of that, say individual,
yes.
there was some stuff written that was saying that it was possibly a fake relationship or something. Was the relationship real?
It was a real relationship. It was a real relationship. It was about as real as it's gonna get. You know what I mean? I Lord, my PR gonna kill me. I mean, no, but it because I'm a talker. Look, I'm a talker, and I got to keep it real. I'm not about that Hollywood stuff. I'm from DC, been a road. Everybody know about that if you're from there. So
yes.
I can't fake it.
It's
but seriously, I mean, I don't care about none of that. I just honestly, at the end of the day, again, he's a great person, and I still wish I wish him well. I want everybody to win. It just wasn't meant for us to be a part of it, and that's how I started to look at things in life. Period. Overall. Okay. But it was a true learning. It was a learning experience for me. Because
so is that why you kind of like disappeared for a little bit?
Hell yeah. When it was hard. Like when everyone thinks that when something like that, something that big happens, everything is just peaches and roses. No, that's when the enemy fights you the worst. When I caught a lot of hell, and especially from social media. It was a lot of cyberbullying that I've experienced. And I'm thinking,
why were people bullying you?
One, because we were the first gay male couple to do Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. I received so much backlash, a lot, and I couldn't understand it, but it was to the point where we were receiving death threats.
Oh my goodness.
It was just out of control. People were. I mean, my page was almost being reported every single day. So I was getting sick and tired of it. People were coming to my Instagram saying that I should be ashamed of myself. And I'm thinking to myself.
For being gay on a show?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
for being
And
going on the show, like it is 20 what?
it's 20. Look, we in 2020, but girl, that ain't even
Wow.
half of it. That's not even half of it.
Oh my
You know,
God. Yeah,
because
I need another sip. Like that's
even
crazy.
my own family are Jehovah's Witnesses. They weren't supportive at all. People were mad at me. They were angry. They were like,
So
I
was
couldn't.
that like their first time knowing? Were you already out at
No,
that
I
point?
was already out. Everybody
Oh my
knew.
God.
I guess they didn't understand. I guess they felt like it would now affect their lives because I'm going to be on TV and everybody know that I'm their
That's so terrible. I'm so
relative. And
sorry.
it was hurtful. So even in that moment, I'm like, who do I turn to for
Mm-hmm.
support? Who can I lean upon right now? Because I'm dealing with a lot of this cyberbullying. And then now to have my family say that we love you, but we can't support that. We would never
Wow.
support that. And I was like, ugh.
So
I
how did you
literally
get
broke.
through that? Like how are you still here today standing strong? How did you get through all of that?
Girl, I was to the point where, well, once the news broke, I still never said anything publicly because obviously, when you sign contracts, you can't say anything. And
Mm-hmm.
Mona, to this day, I don't even know how it even came out. That's the crazy thing. People think that we made announcements. No, I never made any announcements. The news broke, and I was just like, okay, I know they're going to be pissed, and I know a lot of times when the news get out before Love and Hip Hop release it, they're like,
Yeah.
don't want to have anything to do with you. But fortunately enough, I had a relationship already built with them. They were
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, Prince, all right now, what's going on? Who did you tell? Did you say anything to anyone? I'm just like, no, I have done everything that you guys instructed me to do. I'm not jeopardizing my job. This is my pay. This is my livelihood. I'm not going to jeopardize my job. But girl, once the news broke, it was crazy. And like literally, I was getting calls from TMZ. They were like, we want to do the first story with you guys. This will be major. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, at this time, I'm happy and I'm excited, but I was also sad because the love and support that I thought I was going to receive from family, it didn't exist. And I wanted in that moment, I was I wanted to, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't want to be here anymore. I had all these suicidal thoughts. It
Mm.
was a very scary and dark place that I was in because again, I've never experienced anything of that capacity where I'm like, I've done so many. I think I've done so many great things for people, but that support was non-existent.
Mm.
Non-existent. I was on the phone with sometimes with relatives where they would say, you can't come to my house any longer. This is unacceptable. And I'm like, wow. So to this day, it's still a lot of family members that I don't speak with because of that incident. Not even incident, but because of this blessing. I thought it was a blessing. I'm like, guys, all of our lives is going to change.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a giving person. So if I'm eating, if I'm winning, we're all winning. I want everybody to win.
Mm-hmm.
But nah, it
Well,
was.
so speaking of change in your life, like how did all of that happening the way that it did unexpectedly, the good and the bad of it, particularly the negative side of it, how did that change your life? Like in what ways did it change your life to where you are now?
Well, let me say this. It was a lot of therapy. I
Therapy's
literally,
good.
I literally, my dad, I after I left Atlanta, I said I had to get away. I had to get away because it was so much. So I left and I went to South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I went to South Carolina and I stayed with my dad and my stepmom for about a month. And my dad was like, son, I'm gonna be here for you regardless. He said, you my child. I don't care what anybody think. I got your back no matter what.
That's
He
nice.
said, but do you feel like you want to talk to somebody? And I said, I don't need to talk to nobody, because again, in the African American community especially, a lot of times we think that speaking to someone, oh, you're crazy or something wrong with you, or, all of these negative things behind that, as opposed to it could be something good and useful. I said, nah, Dad, I'm good. I don't need enough. I just want to lay low for a while. But after a while, I started seeing myself not being able to, honestly, I was finding myself, I was crying all the time, behind closed doors. I always put on this front as if everything is all good. And it wasn't. It wasn't. And I was like really dying inside. And my dad was like, look, son, let's go talk to somebody. And I was like, okay, if I go, I want you to come with me. Because my dad and our relationship was estranged for a very long time. And it was crazy that when all of this was happening, that I thought of him. I was like, man, I need my dad. Although he wasn't in the picture even during that time, I just said to myself, I need my dad. And I just called him one day and I was like, Dad, I gotta come to you. And he was like, come on, son. I'm not gonna tell you that. He said, come on, whatever you need, I got you. You don't need anything, but just know that I already got you. So we decided to go through therapy. We learned a lot about one another, and it helped. And our relationship is so much better now, so much better. So it was crazy how that whole situation, I guess God was still in control of it all and wanted our relationship to heal. And I guess he knew that I needed my dad. And ever since then, when my dad said, son, you are my child. There's nothing that you should fear in this world. You got God. There's nothing that you should fear in this world. When he said that to me, something automatically went off in my brain and was like, boy, if you don't pick yourself up and get back out there, God got something in you that he needs you to share with the world. One thing I've learned is that God will take your mess and make it your message. So I was like, all right, let me get back. So I was like, boy, if you don't get back out there, because if you say, you can go ahead and take your life, but what will that solve? That's a permanent fix to a temporary situation, and you don't want that. And if you do that, look how many people you're not helping. So I had to step outside of myself and say, boy, this thing is bigger than you. Being a star, celebrity, having a platform, whatever you want to call this stuff, because I'm still not even caught up. I'm not even used to that public figure and all that. I'm just regular old me. Look, I'm money. I'm about that paper, but I'm just regular old me, and I know that God placed me in this position for a reason. So here we are. Yeah.
Amen to that. So, well, how do you feel about reality shows now after having that?
Woo!
Some sort of chaotic experience or traumatic experience. Do you feel like or how do you feel about reality shows in terms of how they represent Black people?
Great question. Why you asking me this question? Good.
I just like you had experience being on there, and like, do you think it's just a form of entertainment, or is it something that should be reevaluated in how it's presented? Because unfortunately, it's people tend to take the wrong parts of what is put out there about Black people as a whole. Yes. And I was just curious on what your thoughts were on
there's good and bad, I will say. Just like anything, there's pros and cons with everything that you do in life. Whether you're even, whether it's a 9 to 5, there's good and bad, whatever job that you have, I would say, in life. But as far as reality TV,
would you do it again? Would you try? If not
I would.
Hip hop, but maybe another platform.
Most definitely. I would go into it differently this go around. And of course, it would just really have to make sense. Let me say that, and I've even shared this with Stephanie and Mona. I'm not going to act a fool for nobody. And I shared that with them even during my first meeting. I probably shouldn't be saying this, but I shared this with them. And I said, I'm not going to act a fool for nobody. So, if that's what you guys wanted from me, I'm not pressed for fame, because I'm like, when you got God's hand over your life, it's yours no matter what. So no matter, I don't care who's in a position to say, okay, here you go, this, that, and the third. I already know what God had for me. So, even before they came to me, I was already making moves on my own. The platform is great, but I was already still making a name for myself, and it was from doing the good work. You know what I mean? And if they came to me, guess who else? It's so many other people that's still watching. So, that's how I look at it. But there's good and bad with it all. It all depends on how an individual uses it, So, but I would do it.
So what are you doing now? Like, what are you working on?
Oh my gosh. Man, it's so many great things. So I recently, maybe I should I tell you a part of, okay. Can we go back to a first question real quick?
Yes, we can go back to whatever
okay,
part.
So there was, when all of this was transpiring, that headline was written about me. There was a production deal that I was working on for almost 2 years. And that same night, when they saw the headlines, they called me and said that they no longer wanted to work with me.
Oh my God.
So people, and that was another part of it, that things that people don't see, they don't see any of that. They're looking at my real life, which is have became other people's entertainment. And I'm like, y'all, this is my real life. This is what I'm really going through. This is not staged. This is not fake. This is not none of that. This is my real life. And so they said, you know what, Prince, we don't want to we don't wish to move forward with you. And I said, I broke on the phone right then and there. And I was like, everything is over. What am I going to do now? Because I worked 2 years tirelessly on that deal to create my own projects. And I was so torn. But again, I keep going back to God, because he's so good. When that door was closed, because I knew then that door wasn't meant for me to walk through. That's all. That's how I look. It wasn't meant for me to walk through that door. God opened up 8 more doors right after that.
Won't he do it?
8 more doors. So when that happened, I was like, I know you will. I know you will. I'm like, I know you will, because all of that I went through, just losing friends and family and deals. I'm like, God, why would you put this in front of me if this wasn't meant for me? Why would you tease me like that? Girl, when I tell you I was ready to just hang it all up, I was, because it was one thing after another. And another production came through and said, you know what? We love everything about what you're doing. Let's get to work. So I end up landing a deal with Daily Motion, which is a huge video platform. And they asked me to create my own content. I said,
wow.
What? Little old me create my own content. So I have 8 projects that will be launched this year. 8 projects.
That is awesome. That is so awesome.
On major networks. I can't say the networks just yet, but major networks. I have Coco Brown, the comedian actress. She's one of the executive producers on one of the projects. Yeah. Girl, look. When I tell you, God is good. God is good. I'm doing an empowerment tour with 2 other guys. They're very uplifting with the community overall. So it's so many different things. I don't even know where to begin. I can't wait to start releasing things. Oh, BET. I'm doing something with BET as well.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Next month. So I can't say what it is, but we're doing it next month.
That is so great. See how that turned around for you, and you didn't get you hung in there, and now all the blessings are coming through. That is
I never thought that awesome. It would. When I was in the thick of it, girl, I was just like, how am I going to get out of this? What is going to happen? I was just so embarrassed. I didn't want to leave.
Sometimes I feel like that's when you know.
Yeah.
greatness is about to
Yeah.
happen. When
Yep.
you at your bottom and everything feel like it's
Yep.
going wrong and it
Yes.
couldn't get any worse, and it kind of does, and then all of a sudden when you feel like you're gonna break, and then all
Yes.
of a sudden it just
Yep.
turns and flips and everything starts working out and all your blessings start coming through, and it's a testament to yourself
It
too, of
is.
your strength
It
within
is.
and being able to push through. That
I've
is so
always heard.
amazing.
I mean, I've always heard people say that, but
Mhm.
I didn't understand it until I went through it. And once
Yeah.
I came out of it, I was like, I get it.
Mhm.
Now I get it. So that is also a part of my testimony. And I can really preach that because I really went through it. You know what I mean? I not even say that because I don't want to make it seem as if it was a bad experience overall. It was tough. Don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
But it was a true learning lesson, and God knew where He was taking me. He was preparing me for where I was about to go. So, and I had to
Yes.
have that tough skin to get there, and I had to, develop the wisdom, to even get to that next level as well, and including business, doing business differently. I make sure I read my own contracts.
Yes.
Like, nope, whatever meeting that my name is in, I need to know what's going on because
Mhm.
all right, now look, y'all ain't gonna be having me
Yes.
looking crazy.
I know that's right. Yes,
You ain't gonna
indeed.
be having me out here looking crazy because it was tough. It was tough, and it's still a struggle. I'm still dealing with a lot, but I'm better off than where I was. I'm better off, in a better place spiritually, mentally, physically, because I wasn't, it got to the point where I really started losing weight. I'm already small as it is. I was losing
Yes.
weight because I wasn't eating. I was sick. I wasn't getting out of bed. Like, my dad was like, son, nah, you my child. Nah, I don't care
Mhm.
who it is. They ain't gonna run you away from what God got for you. He said,
Mhm.
so understand this. Don't fear nothing. And I was just like, it was so simple, but it meant so much to me to hear that from my dad because we didn't have a relationship for a very long time. For him to say that, I was like, okay, let's do this. Let's do this. Now it's time. So here we are. I'm ready to kill it in 2020.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I'm ready. I am so ready because it was a lot. But, I know He's so good. That's all I can say. He is good. He is
Okay.
good.
Well, is there anything else you want to let us know about? Anything you want to share? Anything that we didn't touch on?
Ah,
Open the door. The floor is yours.
you know what? I will say this. I do want to say this. Whomever see this interview, hear it, watch it, read it, whatever. Um, don't give up. You know what I mean? And I know it sounds like a cliche. Everybody say, "Oh, don't give up," but I mean it. If your heart is truly in something, and you know that God, this is from God, keep going. Even during those tough moments, girl, I was like I told you, I came to Atlanta with less than $150 in my pocket. I had a suitcase and a duffel bag. I had no idea where I was going to live. I ended up homeless. I lived on the street for 3 days. And
Wow.
to go from that to this, you know what I mean? Having production deals and having people from major networks saying, we want you on our platform. That, again, that is God, and keep him first in everything that you do. And I mean that. I
Mhm.
don't care whatever higher power that you believe in. Let me say that because I'm not forcing religion on anybody, but whatever higher power that you believe in, you know, stick to it. Have that faith and know that you're going to get through that no matter what. Again, God will take your mess and make it your message. I promise you. I
Yes. And so
promise.
let's end this on that good note. That
Yes,
was so
yes.
awesome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much for sharing your story with us.
Girl, that's just a tidbit. One day, I gotta come back and sit down with you and really just give it all. After the show's launch, I want to do that
Yes.
interview with you. I want to.
Yes, please do.
I
And
want
we
to.
will always be here to support you. So
Thank you.
anytime you want to have a chat,
Thank
you got
you.
my number.
Yes, thank you.
We will always be here to support. So, and congratulations again on everything. I can't wait to see. Make sure you let us know where
Look,
we
of
can watch
course.
everything.
Y'all gonna
Let
be
everybody
invited.
know where they can follow you. Where can we follow you?
Okay.
Where can we stay updated to follow everything that you're working on?
Okay, so I am back on social media now. Everything is at Official Prince Carter. Everything. All handles, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everything. So we launching. Let's get it. Let's get it.
All right. There you have it.